We're changing cities and going on to Zermatt.
Get out of here, huh?
We're going from one spectacular mountain resort to another. And our luck is holding up on the weather, so we're going to have another beautiful day riding along past lakes and rivers and past the mountain peaks. And we'll soon be taking the route of the Glacier Express. After staying in Zermatt for a few days, we'll be crossing the country once again on that famous Glacier Express train, passing Brienz and Lake Brienz, making our way. We'll be going to a little village called Thun, changing trains, and getting on to a scenic panorama type train car that really gives us a nice view. A Vista Dome kind of car. Switzerland is half the size of the state of Maine. It's got 4 great countries all around it: Germany on the north, Austria on the east, France on the west, and Italy in the south. At this point, we are heading to the southwest part of the country called the Valais. The western border of Liechtenstein also touches on Switzerland on the eastern end of the country. The Alps are the most important and most beautiful mountains of Europe, and the Jura Mountains is a branch of the Alps that runs through the northwest part of the country. The highest mountains of the Alpine chain are in the southwest and central sections of Switzerland, and altogether 3/4 of the country are covered with mountains. There's 4 major rivers that run through the country: the Rhine, the Rhone, the Ticino, and the Reuss, and they each empty into different seas: the North Sea, the Mediterranean, the Adriatic, and the Reuss joins up with the Danube and enters the Black Sea. This is truly the center of Europe and the highest point of the continent. Mont Blanc is the tallest mountain in all of Europe, and it's shared partly by Switzerland, by Germany, and by France. We've arrived in Zermatt, which has one of the most spectacular of all the mountains in the country, the Matterhorn. It's not the tallest, but it's probably the most recognizable. Our hotel has a little shuttle van that brings the baggage and some of us over to the nearby hotel, and we're going to check in and take a look at this cute little town of Zermatt. Our hotel, the Alex Schloss Hotel Tenne, is just 2 blocks away from the train station, and like many of the hotels in town, you can get a fantastic view of the main star attraction, the Matterhorn Mountain. We'll be having a closer look at this star of the show in a few moments, but first a quick look around the room. Yeah, okay, everything looks fine. Swiss hotels are generally excellent. So let's step out with our group and have a look at the town, which is only 2 blocks away. The main street looks cute. We're in Zermatt, which is one of the most quaint villages in all of Switzerland. They don't allow any cars here, but they've got horse and buggy. You can rent a bicycle. There's little electric vehicles to take your baggage from the hotel to the train station. And of course you can walk. It's a great place for walking. There's wonderful nature hikes all around the town, ranging from very easy half-hour strolls on a level gradient, paved pathway, up to some serious mountain hiking and rock climbing. And there's skiing in the summertime all year round. You've got skiing here at Zermatt. It has the largest all year round skiing terrain in the entire Alpine area. So it makes for a fascinating place. And even though it's busy with tourists, they've really managed to retain the charm and this Alpine character. There's tremendous mountains all around it, and of course, the most famous mountain in all of Switzerland, the Matterhorn, one of the most famous mountains in the entire world. The Matterhorn is the most vertical, steep mountain that you can find any place on the planet. It's truly awesome. As for the town itself, it has retained a surprising number of unspoiled buildings and fascinating shops, and in places it still retains the character of an Alpine village. Zermatt's narrow streets and the sheer number of visitors make it immediately apparent why motor vehicles had to be excluded from the town. It inevitably adds to the pleasure of walking around the town, the only threat being from these horse-drawn carriages or sleighs and the electric vehicles that carry luggage between the station and the hotels. We're leaving our hotel behind as we go up the Gornergrat Cog Railway. We never hear this electric train from our rooms, but it's very convenient because it goes up the mountain and gives you a spectacular view of the Matterhorn and then reaches a very high altitude. In fact, the Gornergrat will take us to the highest open-air train station in all of Europe, over 10,000 feet high. This line does not use any tunnels, so it's also the highest open rack railway in Europe. It's quite a superlative adventure. Now you could ride the train straight up to the top of the mountain, only takes about a half an hour, or you can get off at the midway point and take a break, stretch your legs a little bit, and find this wonderful outdoor restaurant on a terrace, the Burgh Hotel Riffelalp, because from the restaurant you're going to get one of the best views to be had of the Matterhorn. And the food was pretty good also. Nice outdoor atmosphere. It was cool temperature. It was in the upper 60s, so we could sit out in the sunshine and not even feel hot. A rare treat for us. And get recharged with some delicious foods. If it's around the meal hour when you're going up the Gornergrat, you might as well stop here in Riffelberg and enjoy the same experience. Or you could just go straight to the top and look at the view and turn around and come back down again. But why not combine a little bit of lunch with your adventure? You can also combine a real adventure here and do some parasailing. It's available. You can fly down in tandem as one of us did. Lloyd took the chance and enjoyed a spectacular flight down from the mountain down back into the town of Zermatt. Glorious setting here, getting us back onto the Cog Railway to continue our journey up to the top of the Gornergrat. Many Swiss will tell you that the view from the Gornergrat of the Matterhorn and its satellite peaks with Zermatt way below is the best view in the Alps, and they just might be right. From here you can get a view of the tallest mountain that's completely within the country, Monte Rosa, 15,000 feet high. The mountain is straddled by two glaciers, the Gorner and the Grenz. From this observatory tower, if you climb to the top, it's actually a hotel and a restaurant as well as an observatory. They claim that you can see 29 of the 34 highest mountains in Switzerland, giving you the best view in the entire Alps. The weather was clearing up for us as we traveled back down the hill. We're going to make our way back into Zermatt and have a stroll around. This has just been our first afternoon in town. It's been a nice introduction to the mountain peaks and the vistas that we can gain. There are several other rack railways and cable cars that we'll be picking from in the next few days that we're staying here in Zermatt. We're staying for 2 nights in each of the towns that we're visiting here in the Alps on our tour with the Hawaii Geographic Society. And that gives us enough time to have a look around the village as well as get outside of town, look at the mountains. One curious thing that happens every day in Zermatt is this herd of goats comes marching through town. They generally come through at 8:30 in the morning as a daily ritual, and if you're lucky you might find them at some other odd hour of the day as well. They live on one side of the village and their pasture is on the other side of the village. So to get there, they exercise their historic right to walk right through the middle of town. This ritual is repeated on a much bigger scale during the seasons when the cows come home. When the summer pastures are finished, the cows come down from the mountains and walk triumphantly through the village. These goats are real friendly and clean, didn't smell. It's a nice little treat to see as we wander through town. Zermatt's history comes from its association with the Matterhorn. This is where mountaineering really began over 100 years ago. And since then, it has just become a great tourist attraction. So people come here for the shops as well as for the mountains all around it. They come for the little museum. It's an excellent example of an Alpine museum. And then there's the restaurants. There's a variety of Italian. They've got German. They've got French. They've got Swiss food here. They've got outdoor terraces that you can sit at and have a sandwich and a cold beer. Or you can just hire a horse and carriage to have them take you through the town. There are 17 tennis courts in town. And if walking and climbing are too strenuous for you, there's innumerable swimming pools and the lifts. You don't have to climb a mountain. You can just ride up the mountain, which is what we're going to do this morning on a big adventure.